Yeah, Tuesday night, lights low, sparks fly. War report after dark, better fall in line. From WWE to TNA, AU to Spark. Vince the Prince from the Northeast set it off in the dark. OG Steve led the charge, Cat Al, Eric Us, 9 p.m. Eastern. Acknowledge the ring, acknowledge us.
All right, welcome everybody to the War Report After Dark. My name is Vince. I'll be your host for the evening. Steve and Al are both on their way home from a long day's work. So I'll be manning the ship for a few minutes waiting for those guys to show up. And if Eric or Kat or anyone else drops in, they're absolutely free to do so. I'll just look up the results for SmackDown because, God, who remembers what happened on Friday anyway? It's already Tuesday. Friday's in the past. But we should look it up and see what's happening with SmackDown. And then we'll talk about Raw. A lot of interesting happenings there, especially in our main event segment. The main events are no longer matches, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. WWE main events are now long talking segments that may or may not end in a brawl. So that's what we got to look forward to on the Raw side. And similar stuff on the SmackDown side, because now we have, after WrestleMania, where it seems like the stories were so separate on Raw and SmackDown, now there is a lot more of the gap closing and a lot more crossover. And it all started off with those guys gently rolling Pat McAfee. McAfee's calling out Punk. Punk's calling out McAfee. And they're not even in the same main event or involved in the same main event. But we'll get to all that and more, because now it's a weird trajectory. CM Punk is now eyeing Cody's title, but they're both baby faces. Does he turn heel? And Jacob Fatu now looking at CM Punk's World Championship. And where does everybody else fit in along the way? Our other potential contenders, Money in the Bank coming up in a few months, all that good stuff and more. It's the War Report After Dark. And here's Al. What's up, Al?
What's up, my brother?
Oh, not much. Just vamping a little.
I see that. I see you got the old Tribal Chief music on, or I guess we're embracing the bloodline.
Yeah, man, we're embracing it. We got, if you can't embrace it, I don't know.
The only thing I'm upset about right now is the fact that Steve Glenwick cannot be on this exact podcast, because he's been waiting for this moment, like he was hoping the Wyatt family would fucking main event WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah, and there's all the post-WrestleMania releases that we haven't even gotten to. Which, again, there's so much that happens, you almost forget that this shit happens, but we got to bring that up as well.
Yep.
So, do we start with SmackDown, or do we start with the releases that happened over the weekend?
I mean, I always say this, right? It's kind of becoming one of my things, but what would Steve do?
Right? No, it's a good question.
But you know what, Vince? Since you're running the show today, Vince, what do you want to talk about?
All right. Well, let's see here. We got comments from David. What's up, David? He says Obafemi versus Gunther at Backlash. That was his comment. And Tanya's checking in saying hello. Hi, Tanya. Oh, let me press that thing so we can show the chat up on the stage. There we go. Chat's up in the window as well if you're following along, so please leave your comments. Since Steve says he might be, he's in the car, he's on the way, he might be here. So what I'll do is we'll start with the I have a kitten that is now knocking things over. Wonderful, if you heard that in the background. But we'll start with the releases, and then we can get into SmackDown and Raw. when Steve gets here, or if Steve gets here. Either way, I think it's a good place to start off because this might be the last time we talk about a lot of these names. So let's bring them up, give them a little bit of a rub before they go back onto the Indies or TNA or wherever they're headed. This is I don't want to say a shocking list because a lot of them are, you could pretty much guess, but there are a few names on here that do take me by surprise. We've got Alba Fire, who is Kaylee Ray, and then we've got Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. Aleister Black just signed back with WWE, jumping from AEW back to WWE to go work with his wife and be with his wife. They put him on TV as Great Value, Killer Cross, and Scarlet, and then released him like a year into his big WWE return.
Such a shame he came back to get his wife fired. I'm sorry, not sorry. That's what he came to do. He came back to get his wife fired. That's what he did.
But do you think that was on purpose, or you think that was just like a consequence of him coming back?
I think the fact that they put her with him and they've never had a plan for him got her ass fired. If she would have never teamed up with him, she could have been involved in some sort of women's ladder match or be more involved in the IC title contention. She could have been one of those people that Becky Lynch ran through when she had the title at first, or if she was a heel, you know, when what's her name had it? Why am I forgetting her name right now?
AJ Lee.
AJ Lee, or both, right? Because she's been a face and a heel.
Yeah.
Chelsea Green, right? Like there was a lot you can do with her, but now when you just make her this manager, you take her best skill, which is actually in the ring for her to be a small little woman. She she does well for herself, you know. She knows how to put people over. So I thought that was a mistake. And I'm usually never a fan unless it comes already in a package to have husband and wife work together. If it's not organic, don't force it. And I just felt like that one was a bit forced.
I thought they did the one they did well because they didn't pair them up was Andrade and Charlotte. And I know it's funny now because they're divorced, but like seriously, in the moment when they were both big superstars, he was coming off of NXT and getting promoted to main roster, and she was already on the main roster as a big star.
Right.
They didn't put them together because it didn't make sense. His gimmick is so different than hers. If you tag them up, you're like, hey, by the way, these guys are married in real life and now they're a tag team or whatever. Like it wouldn't have worked.
And my thing with Selena, right? Selena was always a more happy-go-lucky, a loudmouth.
Yeah, where did this come from?
Wrestler.
The spooky. Yeah, she wasn't paranormal or spooky or anything like that.
She was a proud, happy Latina with her flag representing all the time, and all of a sudden she's a woman from the Addams family. Like what are you talking about? She's not Mrs. Addams.
Yeah, she's not Morticia. She's not Wednesday.
Yeah, you know, like that's not what she does. She talks her shit, and she's tiny and spicy, and that's why we like her.
Right, and it didn't make sense. Like all of a sudden, she was like, you knew her story. Her father died in 9/11. You know, she, like you said, she's proud Latina. She got such a big pop in Puerto Rico at that show. Like, you have to know if the crowd can get something behind somebody like that, you can use them.
Of course. Guys, and it's all about I think about at this point that WWE is diverse enough with their women, with their men, with everything, that depending where you're at, you need to use those wrestlers to get that pop. And that's what you're looking for. And Selena's somebody that if you bring to MSG, you go to Puerto Rico, overseas, Miami, places like that, you showcase her like that. You know, do you want to showcase her in the Midwest? Probably not.
Right.
You know, or in Chicago, probably not. Or in LA, probably not. But, you know, in certain areas in the East Coast, that's somebody you could have used.
And that's
I don't,
what,
you know, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That was an old school thing too. Like that was why Bruno Sammartino was big, because they marketed in Philly and New York and New Jersey where there were a lot of Italians. You know, with Hulk Hogan was supposed to be the Irish stereotype. You know, a lot of the big early stars of wrestling.
Just look at
it was
Hollywood Hulk Hogan, right? By
cultural.
the way, if you haven't seen his Netflix
I gotta watch
documentary
that.
that they did, I thought it was very good. It obviously I don't think it answered everything. It really didn't go into but I didn't think it would, right? Because I think he had a lot of producing based on what could be said and what not, what could be asked. So
Right.
they didn't really go over the racist rants or anything like that, or like his
Oh.
daughter wasn't pretty much in it at all. But from the wrestling standpoint, I liked everything, especially early Hogan, because I truly had no knowledge of early Hogan or how he got into the wrestling game and none of that. So and Hollywood Hulk Hogan is a Italian American, mind you,
Hmm.
a huge Italian American at that, because he's fucking huge. And they portrayed him as an Irishman, the All-American Hollywood Hulk Hogan. I mean, the
Yeah.
All-American Hulk Hogan. And
Hmm.
All-American, they didn't. An All-American back then wasn't an Italian. I'm sorry to tell you, it was an Irishman, a hard-working Irishman. That's what they portrayed Hulk Hogan as. Jesus, I can't call him Hulk Hogan anymore. I can call
Because
him Hollywood
he's been
Hulk Hogan.
Hollywood for so
He's
long.
for so long, right? So yeah, like it was just cool to see. So yes, you're absolutely right. You play to your crowd and you adjust to that.
Right. And it doesn't mean that she has to be out there throwing empanadas to the crowd and some racist shit. I just mean, like, you acknowledge that the crowd and the place that you're in is going to cheer this person because they share the same race. It's not like when they had the Mexican guys coming in on riding lawnmowers. I'm like, all right, we get it. That's like a little bit
Wait,
of a
they
step
did
too
that
far.
once?
Yeah, they had Psychosis and some other guys come out, and it was like the mid 2000s SmackDown, and their gimmick was they were Mexicans and they literally rode out to the ring on ride-on lawnmowers
Jesus
because
Christ.
Mexicans are landscapers. Get it?
Yeah, oh, I get it.
No, I know
I'm
it's just
saying,
too stupid. It's the
I'm like,
stupidest thing.
Jesus Christ, that shit was wild. All
Speaking
right,
of big,
enough about Selena, because we could actually be here all night. And like for me, yeah, like just one more. You know what grinds
yeah,
my gear? The
go for it.
fact that like why I guess they just try to push it, or did they push for that because they want to travel together or whatnot? But like, there's so many Latino wrestlers. Like, why isn't she somebody else's manager that she meshed with before? Like,
Right.
why don't you put her back with Rey Mysterio or put her with Dom? Like, she would have been great with Dom if you want
Oh
to put
yeah,
her in that in that gothic shit or whatever. I think she would have done better with him.
yeah, and she would have been good in the Judgment Day. She was in the LWO, but she also would have fit in because, like, at the time, Priest, Latino, uh, you know, um, I almost called him Ray, but he's not Ray. He's Dom.
Dominic.
Dom's Mexican. So like she could have fit into the LWO or the Judgment Day.
Or the
at
Judgment
time.
Day.
Yeah.
By the way, talking about Judgment Day, I don't want to get out of order, but have you seen our young little spicy girl getting the pop she's getting now? People are really liking her, and now they're teaming her up with Balor.
Oh, Roxanne.
Roxanne, oh man, you heard that pop when they showed her in the back?
Yeah,
Pretty big pop.
She's been kind of earmarked to be a big deal. Like, she came off the indies with a lot of hype. I think AEW at one point wanted to sign her, and she went to NXT, and then went up from there. She's awesome. Like, I think she's going to fill that spot of Zelina of, like, yes, the little feisty, and you can go either way with it, babyface or heel, because there's something to be said about both.
Is it her and Liv at SummerSlam? This is what I'm getting.
I think
like
that's
slow brew.
Going.
I feel that's the slow brew that they're getting to eventually.
Yeah, especially because since we're talking about it, Stephanie Vaquer has was it UCL in her shoulder strain and needs time off, so she'll be
that's
out.
Why
for
they wrote her off.
Months. Yeah, and that's why they say the WrestleMania matches were all short, but apparently theirs was the shortest because Stephanie was injured.
Okay.
So we've got her off TV, which is fine because someone else has the title right now. They can tell a story, and then Stephanie can come back. Like, if they can always go
and get a fresh start.
Liv put me out of action, so I want to get the title back from her. Boom, easy.
Yeah,
but
I can see that happening.
David Roskin, Zelina Vega dropped it gorgeous, absolutely. And then the big headline from here, I mean, Apollo Crews finally, after decades of collecting a paycheck, has been released. Andre Chase from NXT, who I liked, was released. Luca Cristofino from NXT was released, and he retired. He had made an announcement on Twitter that he was retired. Malik Blade from NXT, the Motor City Machine Guns was surprising. Santos Escobar, kind of surprising. The girl who won LFG, Tyra May Steele, Tamara Mensa-Stock, she is gone. A bunch, and the headline, all of the Wyatt Six gone. That's it. The whole Wyatt, they were just feuding for like 6 months with the MFTs. And then Tama Tonga says, hey, stop playing with their lantern, and gives it back to him. And that's the last we see of them ever on TV, because then they get fired.
I mean, look, I hate to burst Steven's bubble, but I've been saying this for a little bit, man. I just feel like you can't stay. You're not the Undertaker. You can't stay like super villainish forever and undestroyed. Like, they started too strong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the first episode ever, they literally destroyed everybody backstage.
Yeah.
And then the next week, everybody was walking around like nothing ever happened.
Oh, I know. There was and there was almost no follow-up to it. Like, I don't even think they wrestled the next week. Or if they did, it was just like a regular match.
They should have kept kicking people's ass for two months straight. Just kicking ass.
They shouldn't have wrestled a match. They just should have been there standing in the background, scaring people, standing in the corners, in the shadows, lurking or whatever, and then like attacking people. Yeah.
Right.
It.
Lights go off, turn them on, they're in the ring kicking ass, light goes off, they're out. Like, that's it.
Yeah. And this was the problem with Bray Wyatt, and this was the problem I talked about when the Wyatt Six first came around and they did this big thing, is that they always seem like there's a plan. Like with Bray Wyatt, there was always some overarching plan. Oh, I talked to Sister Abigail, or God tells me this, or whatever. And like, he, is there a higher power that he's listening to? There's some sort of mystery or some sort of story that they always tease, and then it never gets resolved. And the same thing happened with the Wyatt Six. Like, they came in so strong, and then there was just no follow-up. And once there's no follow-up to that, and they're just regular wrestlers, like they just come out, they have their spooky entrance and their costumes and all this shit, but they don't, like, it's once the lights come back on and the bell rings, they're just wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what it is. So once you have them in the ring,
they're just okay wrestlers.
Right, and they were fine. Nikki Cross, I think the whole group could have benefited from Alexa Bliss joining.
Yeah, that's 100%. But I mean, you could have had Alexa Bliss cut right now for being in that group. She could have been the next Selena Vegas. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm glad she's not, actually. I'm glad she's not.
I now in retrospect, yeah, it's good she stayed away. Zoe Stark, who is Steve's favorite women's wrestler, got released.
Wait, before we move on, what do you think AEW will just fucking sign the whole Wyatt Six and rename them?
No, I think they're more likely to sign the Motor City Machine Guns out of anybody on the and someone we haven't gotten to yet, Kyrie. I think those are the teams, the Motor City Machine Guns and Kyrie.
Back. I think Kyrie's coming back.
You think so?
I think the fans are asking for it. They want her back. I mean, she was doing real good.
Yeah, and then how do you release somebody in the middle of a storyline?
That's ridiculous. I mean, was it a cap casualty, or was she getting paid too much? Like, I don't get it. Like, what like, why would you release one of your of the people you put on TV every singular week? Like, every week she was on.
Right. Now, I did see earlier today, and I haven't seen anything else following this, so it's still, take it with a grain of salt, that excuse me, Kairi Sane may have requested her release, or at least said that she was interested in maybe wrestling less, spending more time in Japan, cutting her schedule back, something like that, where once she indicated that she wanted to take a step back, they were just like, well, you're just gone.
Right, you're not that good.
But like, she's one of the best women's wrestlers in the world.
She is. But for them, like, you know what I mean? It's because we go back to the same thing we always go to with international wrestlers. Like, when you can't really cut a promo Like you
Yep.
50% of you's gone. I'm sorry to say that. And
Yeah. No, it's true.
credit to her not cutting promos, just with her face reactions and just her getting bullied around by Asuka. Like, we were gravitating towards her, and then in the ring, forget about it, we just love her, right? So she was one of the few that was actually able to get away with that. Now, you know how
Yeah.
somebody I'm surprised they didn't cut Shinsuke Nakamura. Like, what the fuck are they doing with him? And I'm sure he's
Yeah.
getting paid a boatload of money.
Oh, I know, because he came in with a whole bunch of hype, and they signed him for a big money deal, like pretty much right away, because he came in from New Japan as like a former world champion.
Yeah, I remember.
And then, of course, WrestleMania main events and everything. I still think he should have beat AJ. If he was going to low blow AJ after the bell rang, why not low blow him during the match and win the title, and then that's how you turn heel? Like, don't lose and then low blow him. Like, it didn't make any sense.
No sense at all.
But yeah, there's guys like that. I was trying to think of some other people that could have been on the chopping block, but whatever. The NXT ones, you understand if they're not developing the right way or they don't see anything in them, they're letting them go. It's weird that they released the girl who won the reality show. Wouldn't you want to at least keep her around so like people are like, oh, when you win the reality show, you get to work for them for a couple years.
And it keeps people entertaining the reality show. Because if I see somebody get cut in the reality show, I see one more, I'm not watching it. Because like those people aren't making it, like that's a long shot.
Right. Even if they make it, they can still get released.
Right. What's the point of watching it? They're going to be gone in a couple of weeks. I'm good. I'll watch Survivor.
Right. Yeah. You'll literally watch some other reality show instead.
Yeah. That's all. Like I'm a big fan of the Real World, like the challenge.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I still watch that to this day. Like I think I'm on challenge 43 or wherever the hell they're at.
Whoa.
But that's pretty fun. I like the elimination and the competition.
I used to like they had I Love Money on VH1 where they took all the weird VH1 like Surreal Life and I Love New York and Flavor of Love people, and they put them on a reality show.
I think I remember watching the first season of I Love New York, the one with New York in it.
Yeah, the first season of Flavor of Love had New York in it, and then she had her own show, I Love New York.
Oh, okay.
And then they started they started doing that thing where like then the spin-offs started crossing over. So they had I Love Money, and that was a show where it was like it was a challenge. It was like basically like the challenge, but it was
elimination challenge.
VHS people.
I mean, think about it, bro. We're literally in the heartbeat. We're like the equator to reality TV. Like we were dead in the middle, like our generation per se. Like, well, yeah, because reality TV ruled us.
Yeah, and that was the big thing. So like at one point, the only real reality show on air was Cops. And then like Survivor came out, and then everybody was just about reality shows. And they're like, all right, Survivor, Big Brother, which other ones can we,
I'm gonna tell you what, brother. I don't think I know the Real World was actually.
Yes, I was just gonna say the Real World.
The Real World was actually the first like ever true like reality TV show. That people lived there and had to like stay there and do shit together and all that. That was crazy.
Right. And then everybody had conflicts and arguments and
Mm-hmm.
And yes, people with the keen eye will see my cat Gus, aka King Booker. I've been shamed out of naming him King Booker because they're like, you can't call this poor cat King Booker for the next 10 or 15 years. Give him a normal name. So I think it's going to be Gus. But
King Booker.
And
if you say it right, it'll be great.
Right. But I would have to walk around my house for the next 15 years going, King Booker.
Yeah. Are you hungry?
King Booker.
This is my cat, King Booker.
King Booker. Yeah. Maybe I will still name him King Booker now. It sounds kind of fun. It's fun now.
You can nickname him KB.
KB. Yeah, that's true. I can shorten it.
King Booker, but you could call him KB.
Oh, speaking of, he's pulling over every fucking cable behind here. Like, Jesus Christ, kid. Cables aren't edible. He thinks they are, though. Anyway, it seems like, maybe Alba Fire would get signed, or a Kaylee Ray, now that she's back in the Indies, might get signed by AEW. Kairi Sane, if I was them, I would go after. Motor City Machine Guns would be great for the tag team division. And the funny one is, apparently, the reaction to a potential return of Aleister Black with Zelina Vega to AEW has been met with very negative response from the locker room. So it does not seem like he'll be on his way back anytime
What
soon.
was it? Like he just didn't they just don't like him? He's a bad like teammate or
He
something?
he didn't want to put anyone over. It seemed while watching the show, the only people he lost to were former WWE talent for the most part,
Ah,
like
got it.
Cody, Edge, Rusev, maybe. But you know what I mean? Like guys like that who were like, he basically wanted to keep himself strong in case WWE came calling again, I think. And he's another one which fucking there's always some spooky story, and he's there with like 2 or 3 people, and there's weird lighting, and they're in a church or a mausoleum or something, or in a graveyard, and there's always a promise of some like story or some lore that we're supposed to get, some legend or whatever, and it just never
He
gets delivered.
he
It
just
delivers.
right. That was my problem with him. It was like don't get me wrong. Guy got great kicks. And he
Yeah, he can wrestle like a motherfucker.
he doesn't cut bad promos either. Like he's real good at promos, I think. But I don't know what it is about him. It's just he doesn't stick. Like he doesn't gravitate me as a wrestler, you know. It's like, all right, I hear his
Right.
promo, like, all right, it's dark, it's cool, I get it. But then it's like I'm over it. It's like I don't remember it. Like it's and then
Yeah.
the same thing with his matches. Great kicks and shit like that, but no great spots. You know, it's not like I could sit here and tell you, oh my God, I remember this Aleister Black match that he did this. Like, no, I don't at all. Like, so he's very forgettable. I guess that's the best way I could just describe him, which is horrible.
Yeah, and again, we're talking about these guys. We go. Bray Wyatt was the closest to kind of recreating the Undertaker thing, because he had like a larger than life personality and the size and the build and the look and all that. All these guys who try and take over this Undertaker-esque spooky thing, aside from Bray Wyatt, they don't have a personality for it. That's really what it is. Look at a guy like Bo Dallas. Good enough wrestler, looks like his brother. He's not his brother, and that was always the case. Bo Dallas was always way lower on the card than Bray Wyatt, and there was a reason. And now, Aleister Black's got a good physical look, but I don't know. He just doesn't. If I'm thinking about a guy that's like putting curses on people or like lives in a graveyard or he's a vampire or something, I don't know. It's not that guy. That guy looks like.
That's Van Housen.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, this guy looks like, I don't know. He looks like a guy that like goes to metal shows and has a bunch of tattoos, like, and that's the gimmick. Like I don't know. There's you're right. There's a disconnect there where you look at him and you go, he's good, but there's just something missing there.
Right. And I guess they just give him too much creative, and he doesn't want to get away from the goth whatever he is. But dude, I would have tried something else. Like my second time around, like he literally came back with the same shtick,
right?
That
and then
we did not like.
And they had him do the Killer Cross thing, which was the exact story that they put Killer Cross in before they fired him and his wife. And it's like, what did you not see the handwriting on the wall, my guy? Jesus Christ!
Yeah, dude, they were telling you to go on the elevator, and there was no elevator at all. Like I really don't. I wasn't, and like. I felt it. I was like, dude, I don't know what they're doing with him. Then I saw Selena with him, and the first thing I did was just feel bad for her. I was like,
Yeah.
oh no, guilty by association, guilty by marriage, actually.
Right? Yeah, because it doesn't. I don't think it fits. It just doesn't. I get they're married, but like on TV, it just doesn't fit. Because she's already been established for so many years as this one character. For her to suddenly change over to basically being Scarlet to his Karrion Kross is crazy.
Pretty much. That's it. And that's another guy, man. I was upset they cut him.
Oh yeah, and then there's unfortunately, aside from doing, he's doing good on the indies, but like he hasn't shown up anywhere else. Like he's not on TNA, he's not on AEW.
Is he making too much money in the indie? Maybe he's making good money, man.
Maybe.
But does he have? I could have sworn I seen him with a belt the other day.
Yeah, he's probably. I'm sure he's got a couple. That's usually what happens when you're on the indies right after a WWE run, is like you get called up by a couple of them. They're like, you'll be the champ for a while. And then they wait for somebody else
Mm.
to get released or whatever.
I mean, you are the hot hand, so why not use it at the moment?
Yeah, exactly. It helps you sell tickets. Why not?
Keep your name out there. Absolutely.
Yeah, so we'll see. You know, fans are going to try and get Kyrie back. I don't think there's going to be any sort of clamoring for anybody else on that list to come back. It's not like they're going to be like hashtag save Apollo Crews or whatever.
No.
Like that shit's
I
not
think
happening.
there's fans that might not even know who Apollo Crews is, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, when's the last time he was
I
on
dare to
TV?
say that. There's fans that are really like, Apollo Crews, who's that? Wasn't that a mission?
Yeah, we went to the moon.
Yeah, that's when we went to the moon. What are you talking about?
And was he with Commander Aziz? Was that a thing?
He was like, didn't he wear like some green and white trunks or some shit like that?
And then he wrestled. What was it? There was Commander Aziz. There was Baba Tunde. That was like Obafemi before Obafemi, but Baba Tunde couldn't work.
I don't know, man. I've heard
Then
this
there's
guy
another
with an
tall guy.
accent, without an accent. Like he's
Oh yeah, he came out with the he spoke normally for like the first 10 years, and then at one point he comes out on NXT doing the Coming to America accent.
right. It was like Wakanda and Coming to America had a baby, and the name was Apollo Crews.
Yeah,
But
and
he kept the
yeah.
same name, which is fucking weird. You sound African as fuck, but your name is Apollo Crews.
He really
What
should
is
have
go-
taken
what-
like a Africa Bombada kind of name, you know what I mean?
Eh.
And that's another guy who like he came in with a lot of hype.
Yes, very athletic.
And he's great. He is another guy that's great, but yeah, there's something that just doesn't stick. He's not
He's
that main
forgettable.
event guy. Yeah.
He's forgettable. Forget about main event. He ain't even mid card work. Like honestly,
Right.
like he's really
No, it's
not.
true. He was a jabroni. Oh, let's knock out some of these headlines from SmackDown. Tiffany Stratton beats Julia to win the U.S. Women's Championship.
Yes. Happy with that. Hopefully they could put some prestige behind this belt.
Right. Which
Um,
Julia, it's weird. She's another one we talk about coming in with a lot of hype and then kind of dying down.
well, I think the problem with Julia is that she's getting overshadowed by her sidekick, and now you see
Yeah.
they're gonna make them feud. So I guess they believe in more in the sidekick than her. Because no way Julia comes out the winner out of this. Because I'm sure her friends
No.
her sidekick's the one turning face most likely.
Do you think this is another instance of a foreign talent coming in, not having English as their first language, kind of holding them back?
100%. There's no connection with the public. There's no connection. No connection with the public.
And listen, she's gorgeous and she can wrestle her ass off. But yeah, there's definitely something there that needs to be addressed in terms of like character, gimmick,
And the
speaking
thing
English.
is, the one thing is like we tend to forget sometimes, right? It's like I feel like NXT fans are a little bit more marked out than like your regular WWE or AEW fan, right? They're like,
Yeah.
if you have a heartbeat and you're pretty much athletic and can put two sentences together, you're probably gonna get over in NXT, which
That's
is not
true.
the case in WWE, and that's a struggle, right? Because we hear these people get great pops down there, mind you, from what 300 people, however
Right, it's
big
very
that fucking
small
place
audience.
is. It's a very small audience, so you hear these people going ape shit. They're probably piping fucking noise on the TV while we're watching it. So there's a lot that goes on that, like, when you come out to 15,000 people on a live show and you have to really perform against a vet or whoever the hell you got to do it with, it's not the same. And especially if you're only fighting half the battle when you can't cut a promo, because there is that disconnect.
And on the opposite end of that, on Monday night, Joe Hendry comes out for his first official main roster Raw appearance, has to play a song and sing in front of a live crowd and nails it.
And nails it and gives us a great chant. What was it? Fire Logan Paul or something like that?
Yeah, it was Paul, can we fire Logan Paul? Like, it's a whole song about firing Logan Paul, which is
That was fucking great.
they'll never do because the guy's a draw. He's legit, like as much of a gripe as I have with whatever he's done on YouTube. Wrestling wise, he's proven himself as a capable wrestler, a capable performer, and somebody that people will pay to see wrestle. So I don't
He
know,
is
man.
arguably a top 5 villain in wrestling right now, active, non-injured guys.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
Arguably.
No, I think there's a very good argument for that because people do just there's something about him people just want to boo.
His
He
face.
does, yeah, it's his face. He's got this reputation coming from the outside world of being a celebrity YouTuber, all this stuff. He did all this weird stuff with crypto and went to Japan and filmed all this bullshit and whatever. So like there's already, history there where people kind of dislike him. But then he just comes on and it's the face, the facial expressions that he makes. I mean, he cuts a convincing promo for a bad guy. So
You know who he reminds me of, honestly, as far as the draw against the fans, and I really noticed this a lot now that I'm going back to watch like the Raw vaults and all that.
yeah.
He reminds me of a young Shawn Michaels when he turned on Margie Jannetty. That people genuinely hated Shawn Michael because of how great he was.
Right.
Like people really hated him. I remember once, like when he started wearing like the zipper pant cowboy things. Like there was chance of Sean's gay in Raw matches. I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
realize that when I was a child, but I going back, I'm listening to this. I'm like, look at these fucking people really hating on this guy because like he is just a great guy. He's good. He just pisses you off, and I get some sense of Logan Paul when it comes to that because people, man, can people boo him and not get tired of booing that guy?
Yeah, and you're right because he is. You wish he wasn't as good as he was, so you could just boo him and be like, "This guy stinks." But
Yeah.
like, he's good. You can't
He's
deny
fucking
that he's
good.
good.
He's fucking good. Regardless, call a spade a spade. The kid is fucking good.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. So, speaking of people coming up and new people and all that, we had in the middle of the Brie Bella and Paige versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss women's tag team championship match. Fatal Influence came out and attacked. JC Jane, Fallon Henley, and Lainey Reed come out and attack both teams, establishing themselves as the new top heel women's faction on SmackDown.
Very, very, very. First of all, I have no idea who they are. I think I knew one of them because she was an NXT former champ and she came up at a point, and she was in a Royal Rumble, I think, which was the middle one, whoever the leader is.
Yeah.
Alba, is that Alba Fire, whatever you just called her?
No, Alba Fire is one of the released ones. It's either JC Jane, Fallon Henley, or Lainey Reed.
So it's probably Jessie Jane,
Yeah.
whatever her name is. But it was very, very Shield-ish.
Yes.
The women, they came in, they wrecked house. I absolutely loved it. I had no idea who these three girls are. I like their face mannerisms. They could sell you that they're heels. They could definitely take some heat, and they went after some powerhouses. So that was pretty strong. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, a great debut for somebody new coming in because a lot, sometimes they come in as a jobber or they come in, they wrestle some kind of enhancement match or like, a little 5-minute showcase match to show what they can do. No, they came out, they interfered in a match with 4 of the biggest names in the division who have a lot of history and a lot of championships behind them, and they laid them all out and established themselves.
Which I have a question for you. Because they went after 4 females, could this be kind of NWO-ish and they introduced another member later on?
Oh, maybe if they want to do a 4-on-4, it's very possible.
Right, because it's you said it was 4 women, there's only 3 of them.
Right. But I wonder if they're just going to like take on both the teams like separately. I don't know, because it seems like they want the tag team championships, which means going after one of the Bellas and Paige.
That's one thing I don't see often, and well, you only really see it in Judgment Day. You really don't see like a lot of teams of females. So I actually like the fact that it is more than 2 of them. So the fact that it is 3 females is pretty cool. Because again, we really don't get that. Like the most you'll get a tag team for females. You'll never have more than 1 girl in a group. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. I guess I was talking to myself.
No, sorry. What happened was my cat jumped up on the thing here.
Disconnected your headset.
Yeah. He actually put the entire computer to sleep.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so everything, all my screens shut down.
Oh, okay.
So I'm back. I'm back now. I'm sorry. What were you saying?
All good, brother. All good. So yeah, did you hear what I said or no?
I heard a little bit. We were talking about the JC Jane Fatal Influence thing, right?
Yeah. So what I said is that outside of Judgment Day, really, and lately that they put what's her name, the woman Universal Champion, Jade.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the ex with Jade with these other two girls that you really don't see more than like two groups in a female group, right? Because that left before with Asuka and Kyrie Singh and this girl.
Damage Control.
Damage Control, right? So I was pretty happy that we got it like a three girl group plus together again. So that was pretty cool.
No, I like that a lot. I think having factions is always great because I was thinking about this last night, how 4 is pretty much the sweet spot for a faction where you have like one main event wrestler, one like US title level wrestler,
a mid-carder,
right?
And a tag team.
Right, and a tag, yeah, exactly. So you've got a nice little combination, and yeah, a fourth person to this group wouldn't be a bad idea, but I don't know. Like they've been running with this group of 3 for so long that I don't know if that would end up like, would that fuck the chemistry up by adding a new person or what?
Yeah, I mean, they are probably a threesome. It was just intriguing to me. I'm like, you know what? They are challenging 4 girls. How are they going to get past this?
Right.
Unless they get like, I mean, look, I that's something I would love to see, honestly. First, I need Brie Bella and what's her face to lose this belt.
Yeah.
And I would love to see Paige come out of this as the leader of that group.
I like that.
And make her a heel, because I don't like Paige as a face.
I agree. And I also think that's a great direction because that was like what she was doing in AEW. It was her, Tony Storm, and Ruby Soho, and they were all in like a little group together. And she worked really well in that, I think.
Yeah. So she could be like the voice of reasoning, the one that came back to take over, blah, blah, whatever. And she could like turn on Brie when they lose the fucking title. And that could be like her first little, like, first little, what's the word I'm looking for? Rivalry from coming back.
Yeah, and just to cover some other stuff on SmackDown, because we do want to talk a little bit about Raw as well. Sami Zayn was dressed as a gingerbread man and attacked Trick Williams officially.
I thought that was him last week, honestly. I thought last week he was a gingerbread man.
It probably was, right? If they didn't reveal it. Right. And it was probably him both weeks to like set this up. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, officially, even though people were booing him at WrestleMania, I think this is the official start of his heel turn. And we'll see what happens. I don't want him to get the title back because, no, fuck him. Like I think it should be Trick Williams. It's Trick Williams' time. This should be used. This heel turn should be used to put over Trick Williams.
I agree.
Was there too much Danhausen on this show? He was on the show like 4 or 5 times.
I don't mind Danhausen because for me, Danhausen is like the 7-inning stretch of a wrestling show. But I don't mind seeing
like he gives you a little break.
Dance. I don't mind seeing the YMCA dance more than once when he's doing it. It's funny. It's comedy. He fucking curses people. I love it. I don't mind it. Could it get repetitive in the future if they're constantly putting him 3-4 times? Yeah, but I don't mind him once, twice a night. It's not a bad thing for me.
Yeah, I just that the trouble is they need to find this balance because were you watching when Fandango was a thing?
Of course.
Okay, so you remember how hot Fandango got because of the goofy song and the dance?
Of course.
And then they were like, let's get Jerry Lawler out there to talk about Fandango. And like, it killed it because they kind of like acknowledged how popular this thing was. And that was what, like, once they were like, oh, this is popular, what can we do with it? That's when they fucked it up. And it's like they're at that point where it's like, hey, you got a good thing going, keep it where it is, don't fuck this up.
Yeah, I think, ironically, because he's a wrestler, but as long as you keep him as out of the ring as much as possible, I think he'll be successful because he's not going to beat many people. And as soon as he starts losing, he's going to lose this aura.
Yeah, and I think I agree. I think he's one of those guys that you have to minimize his wrestling minutes because it is what it is, man. Like he's not,
and he's little, isn't he? Like little,
right.
He's a little person.
He's not a big dude. I think me and him were probably the same height, and he's definitely thinner than me. I mean, listen, that doesn't mean I'm in better shape than him. I don't know. I'm like 5'9", 5'10". Like he's not over 6 feet tall.
He's as tall as us.
Dude, he's not a big dude. No, he's like I'll have to go back. I have a video with him at a comic convention.
I feel like he was tinier than us.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If I'm an average height at like 5'9", 5'10", he's below. I think he's below that.
Could you Google him? His height, please do.
Yeah.
Now I'm very. I want to see how little I look next to these goddamn wrestlers.
Right. Let's see. How do I get?
Mind you, I feel little every day of the week because I work with one of my sales rep is 6'10".
Nice.
That's a tall guy, 6'10". By the way, the Knicks are up 75-57 right now.
Oh my God.
I know.
So this is funny. Danhausen's WWE.com profile lists him as 6'7", 300 pounds.
Dude, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. According to Google Gemini AI, Danhausen's approximate physical height is 5'10".
Oh wow.
The reason he looks small is everybody in WWE is gigantic.
Huge.
Like
so that will be how we'll look in front of them. Oh, that's horrible.
Well, dude, one time before I tell the story, what do you think when you see a guy that's like hardcore Bob Holly? How big do you think he's a big guy or do you think he's a small guy comparatively to other wrestlers?
Well, hardcore, I thought he was at 6 foot. He's a 6 foot guy. But he's just a thick fucking human being, I would assume.
Right, but then he's wrestling guys like fucking The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar and everything, and a 6 foot tall guy on TV when he's wrestling other guys that are 6 foot tall, just everybody's the same height, so you think he's just like average height. I met this guy in New Orleans at like WrestleMania 34. Outside of one of the indie shows, and holy shit, this was the biggest fucking human being. I mean, I've met the Great Khali. That's the biggest human being I've ever met. But like Bob Holly was intimidatingly large.
Really?
Yes. And I was like, holy shit, this guy could eat me for lunch. You know what I mean? Like his arms were
he was
huge.
A strong fucker. He was a brute in the ring, I remember. He used to beat the shit out of guys.
And I'm sure if you crossed him sideways, it would probably be a bad time. When I met him, I got introduced to him through other wrestlers, so he was very, very nice to me and seems like a really nice guy, but also seems like the kind of guy where like there are stories where someone else was driving his rental car and they got a parking ticket or a speeding ticket that he had to pay for, and he like beat the shit out of him in the ring. Like you just don't want to cross Bob Holly.
Well, remember that one wrestler, it was in a Royal Rumble, and him and somebody else, Chris Benoit, took turns beating the
it was
bricks out of
Maven.
them.
They beat the shit out of Maven. Oh my God,
beat the shit. They were shopping the living shit out of that guy.
And then they beat the shit out of him. They're like, all right, we had enough of you. We've had our fun.
Threw him over.
Just so you know, David in the comments, Steve is the one that runs the sound usually, and I am trying so hard to find your ESPN Sports Center music, as you said in your comments, because he did watch the Hulk Hogan documentary, so we should have played the update for that. And where is my Sports Center? David, when Steve is back next week, your Sports Center sound effect will be back. I have no clue where the hell to find it, but it does still exist. We've got this thing going on now, just kind of to switch from the main event of SmackDown, which there was a promo on SmackDown with Solo and the Usos and Fatu, and then there was a match between Solo and Fatu as the main event. Fatu wins, and goes on to Monday Night Raw to confront Roman. They have a segment where Roman says, I can't let you challenge for the title. That would be nepotism. As soon as Jacob hears that, he snaps. He beats the shit out of their tribal chief. He puts the Tongan death grip on him, and he won't let go until officials come out and separate everything. And then now you've got an unhinged Samoan werewolf going against the original tribal chief Roman Reigns. What do we think about this whole thing?
Well, Roman Reigns just got the belt for the first time in 2 years. So if I was a betting man and I had $1 billion to bet,
Yeah.
I am betting 999,999,000 that Roman Reigns keeps the belt.
Oh, yeah.
The
No, there's
intriguing part about this is what happens afterwards. If he acknowledges him, is he joining the bloodline?
right. That's where I'm at as well. I'm like, there's no way Roman is losing this match or losing the title, but will Jacob end up being part of the bloodline, or will he end up? Do we bring back the MFTs versus the bloodline? What are we doing?
Or since he talked about Solo was the one to bring him there, does he join the MFTs?
Right. And
So
then
that's
the MFTs might have something to finally do.
right. It's like one of those things that I'm more excited about what happens afterwards than the actual match. Which
Yeah.
we said this before in a couple of the WrestleMania matches, ironically. But that's what I'm looking more for.
Yeah, and now is there CM Punk and Cody seem to be headed towards something. But are we still going to get a resolution to this Randy Orton thing? Because now we see where the vision is for the pay-per-view for this Raw World title. SmackDown World title, not as clear.
I'm sorry.
You're muted, now you're back.
Again, brother. I was called. Say that
Oh,
again.
no problem. So I was saying we kind of know the direction the Raw championship is going in, the world title. Where are we headed
Right.
with this SmackDown championship? Cody's got it. Are we rolling back to have a WrestleMania rematch with Orton, or this thing with Punk that they teased? Is that happening? Like what do you think is going on with the SmackDown world title?
The B title, you mean?
It's so weird that just by Roman Reigns winning it, that the World Heavyweight Championship that nobody considered the A title is now the A title.
Because the title doesn't make the man makes the title.
That's true.
And he just killed that promo. Honestly, bro, respectively, I don't care. Doesn't really matter. Roman Reigns is my champion, and I'm sticking to that. This is the B title, bro. Like Cody has it. What are we gonna watch till the summer ends? Right? Cody almost crying every time, cutting a promo, cutting his forehead, barely losing, coming back like Superman, all 5'11" and 3/4 inches of his little ass, and he's gonna beat fucking mountains of men that he shouldn't be beating through the process. Like it's like, all right, you gave me the story, I get it, but even fucking Rocky lost. Like, come on now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing. Is like, well, he sells T-shirts. They can't do anything different with him. It's like, no, you can. You can do something different with Cody. He doesn't have to always have the title or be chasing for the title. He doesn't always have to be a babyface. Although I know that's his thing. Is he doesn't want to turn heel. He never wants to be a heel again.
Newsflash. In AEW, I remember him being very fucking popular, and all he was a TNT champion. You could always put a mid-card title on him, and he will be okay.
Yeah,
he is the All-American man. Make him the fucking U.S. champion for a while. You know what I'm saying? Like, get him out of the main event. We got so many people we want to see on the main event. Like, Drew McIntyre losing that match and not being able to go to fucking WrestleMania sucks.
Yes.
And being dethroned, or even if he ends up beating Randy Orton, and then him and Orton could keep going a little bit more, I don't mind seeing that story, you know? Or CM Punk comes in and deals with Drew McIntyre for a little bit again. I don't mind seeing that story. Or a triple threat between them three. I don't mind seeing that, you know? And then you can have Cody Rhodes beat up on newcomers. or a younger talent and elevate them since he's that guy.
Right. No, I agree. I think there's a lot you can do with him, but this is also we are bang on schedule for the crowd to get sick of him in WWE the way they got sick of him in AEW. Because it didn't start out with, oh, Cody Rhodes, he's in on TV too much, he's overexposed, he's writing his own storylines, he refuses to turn heel. Blah, blah. That wasn't from day one of AEW. Him and Dustin Rhodes had a great match at Fyter Fest. They were one of their first live
I need
events.
my brother.
Yeah, and that was a callback to some old Dusty promo, of course. Or it was like him and Dustin, I need my son, or I need my father, or whatever. It's like, I need my brother. But yeah, that was a great match. And then, the first inkling of something is afoot came when he was the first challenger to Chris Jericho's AEW championship and said, if I lose this match, I'll never challenge again. And we're like, oh, all right. So either we have a new champion 30 days after the last, the first ever champion was crowned, we get a title change, or Cody Rhodes has shoehorned himself into some storyline where he can never challenge again. And he did. There was no, I'm an EVP, I'm going to turn heel and change my mind because that's what I can do. There was none of that stuff. It was, I made a stipulation, I'm sticking to it, I'm never going to challenge for the title. So he, like you said, he always had a challenge for that TNT championship. That was like his realm. And it would have been more interesting if he, after a while of being in the TNT championship chase, you got to move on. The guys who, right. the idea is that the TNT championship is getting you ready for something else.
For the next step.
But he decided to make that like the Cody World title almost, you know what it, like where he was, it was just, that title became associated with Cody Rhodes for a couple of years.
Yeah.
For despite the fact that other guys held it in the interim, it always kind of circled back to somebody's going to challenge Cody and they're going to lose, and Cody's going to get that title back.
Right.
But long way of saying 2 or 3 years in was when people were starting to be like, all right, Cody, you got to switch this shit up, man. And here we are, 3, 4 years in.
We're 3, 4 years into it, right? 3, 4 years into it.
Yeah. And we're right on schedule. And I don't think this is a Cody Rhodes specific thing. I think that every wrestler, every couple years, right,
runs its course.
The gimmick runs its course. You got to stay fresh. You need to turn heel or change your gimmick. Yeah. And sometimes it's a heel turn, sometimes it's not. But like,
dude, that's why the fucking Undertaker was such a great persona, right? Is because he bent with time. He was the dead man, then he became a biker. Oh no, he was the dead man, then he became a dead man that spoke, and then he became a biker, and then he became a dead man again, but a dead man that was alive. It's like
right, and who also rode motorcycles.
Who also rode motorcycles. He changed it all up. Like it was great. Like he knew how to bend with time, and there's been other like. A la Hulk Hogan, Hulk Hogan knew it was time, and he fucking milked it and came back around and was hotter than ever, and even came back and saw time to bring the yellow and red back, and he did, but with a black beard, and he was Hollywood Hogan with the yellow and red, like he did it.
And that's the other thing is like if you put away this American Nightmare thing that you've been doing since like 2019 or whatever it is, like. Put it away for a little while, and then when it comes back, people will be excited for it the same way people got excited for Hogan's first time being in the red and yellow after being in the NWO colors for so long.
I think that I don't think you go away from the American Nightmare. You relish the American Nightmare. You truly become a nightmare. You change all your colors.
Yes, that's what I mean. There's the whole thing that he's got going on.
The
red, white, and blue.
Red, white, and blue has to go.
Yeah.
The red, you have to go to dark colors, dark colors, and dye your fucking hair, make that shit jet black, and you got to go to fucking town, bro.
If only.
Just be merciful. Kick everybody's ass. Get booed out of every building you walk into, and blame it back on the fans because they made you this way. I'm going to send all you motherfuckers back to Pelican Bay. You're going to be frying some fish. You going to do this to me? Huh?
No, and it's an easy story to tell because if the crowd does start to get sick of him, you can just play into that. And they kind of did it with John Cena, but they played into it in a way where John Cena never actually turned heel up until last year's run to WrestleMania. Like there were so many times, SummerSlam 2006 against Edge, his whole feud against Kurt Angle for the world title. Like there were times where the crowd hated John Cena and they kept him babyface. They acknowledged it and he would acknowledge it in promos. And if they were booing, he would react to it. But like he stayed babyface. This is their opportunity to take that and acknowledge it in real time in the moment and go, you know what? If this is how you feel, I'm going to return the favor.
You know what? If this is the only reason I really wish that they would sell from TKO, because this is where I could just see behind closed doors and they're having this conversation in regards to, oh, what do we do next with Cody? And there's somebody in there taking our side, saying, oh, he ran his course, we have to turn him heel. And there's got to be a couple of nerds in there like, absolutely not. Our sales will drop. This is a projection. We will lose X amount of money. We cannot afford this. Like you're gonna hear that. So that's the only thing I hope that doesn't happen. And hopefully the rebuttal on the other side is the examples of the NWO or the Hart Foundation when they were together, or a Razor Ramon when he started, or a Ric Flair, or a Nacho King.
Yeah, and I listen. I have a lot of problems with a potential Saudi Arabian government or whatever takeover of the WWE. Like they tried, like Vince McMahon was going to sell it to the Saudis, I guess, at one point a couple years ago, before this TKO deal got finalized. There's a lot of problems with that, but the one problem I wouldn't have with it is they seem to know pro wrestling and they seem to like pro wrestling and understand that, like, when we were like any other government, if it was like North Korea and they're like, oh, bring a wrestling show, just bring your big stars. We don't give a shit. Here's $100,000 or whatever, $1 million. Bring your show to North Korea. And they would do the greatest North Korean Royal Rumble. Saudi Arabia was like, you're coming here, but we have requests. We want The Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. We want Brock Lesnar against Roman Reigns. We want Yokozuna. Okay, they're a little out of date, but like, you know what I mean? Like they at least know. They're like, hey, we want this stuff.
We want a great show.
Yeah.
We want a great show. We know our shit. We know who we want to see wrestle.
And, like Steve always says, the crowds in Saudi Arabia, they know wrestling. Like at least they know WWE. They might not know New Japan or AEW or the Indies or all that shit, but they know WWE. So there's problems with Saudi Arabia buying it, but the least of the worries is whether or not they would treat wrestling with respect. Right now, you got a guy, Ari Emanuel, who's a billionaire who don't give a fuck about nothing. He can, he doesn't care if he's investing in real estate or sports teams or TV shows or whatever, as long as it's making him money. That's his main concern. So that's where we're not this is not a guy that feels passionately about pro wrestling or has any real, connection to it. But I think, dude, there's a point in the next, if the WrestleMania, for example, doesn't sell 50-something thousand tickets over, both nights over the next couple of years, and they have like 3 to 5 years that are down comparatively to the last couple of years, this is a business. Ari Emanuel's a businessman. If he's losing money, he wants to stop losing money.
My question is this: are they losing money at those numbers?
I don't. I mean, right now, no. But what I'm saying is potentially if something happens where the WWE starts to, even if it's not losing money, if it's making less money than it's supposed to be making, or like it's projected to make, or it was, we sold 55,000 tickets to WrestleMania last year. We only sold 50,000 tickets this year. If we sell 45, and I know it's in Saudi Arabia, but let's say it's in America, and we only sell 45,000 tickets. Ooh, that's a bad question, trend.
Though. You don't think the war at hand has anything to do with that right now? Because I mean, I'm in an industry of retail, and
retail there's a lot of stuff
down. There's a lot of shit across the board that I think that has an effect to it to an extent. You know what I'm saying? Because I will guarantee you, if this war is over before next year and like inflation stops like inflating us,
Yeah.
I'm sure people will be in a way better position. You'll pack a house of 60 grand again.
Right.
At least for Mania.
Right, but there's a lot of factors at play. It's not just like, oh, Triple H or whatever booking. There is there's financial factors and economic stuff for sure that you have to take in. And think about this: we're coming up on, we're less than a year away from WrestleMania, not some funky ass pay-per-view with a weird name. The actual WrestleMania is going to Saudi Arabia. They have to make a decision within the next 3 to 6 months if they're going to keep it there or if they're going to move it. And if they keep it there, aside from Saudi Arabians, who the fuck is traveling when you got Ukraine and Russia and Iran and fucking Palestine and Israel and all this shit going on? Like, who is flying to Saudi Arabia to watch WrestleMania while there are bombs dropping in that area? Who's doing it?
I mean, shit. I don't know.
Is green shirt guy going to be there? His wife sitting in a burqa next to him, a green smiley face burqa, and they're just cheering along? Like, is that going to happen?
He might have a lime green fucking bulletproof vest on. That's what he's going to have on. Yeah.
Did you see that last week? All the green shirts?
Everybody. He brought the whole family. That motherfucker's got to be loaded, though.
He paid so much for WrestleMania stuff. His name, the green shirt guy, was printed on the ring mat along with the other sponsors.
What?
There was a level of like buying a ticket to WrestleMania where if you spent enough, you got your name on the mat. And of course, that had to be tens of thousands of dollars. So right next to Dude Wipes or Prime Energy or whatever, he took a picture. It's on Twitter, and it's him like before the show. He's inside the barricade at ringside, pointing to his name, and somebody's taking a picture, and he's pointing to his own name. It says green shirt guy right on the mat.
That's awesome.
And then they had the other guy, which this confused me in the moment, and then we saw the updates. Some billionaire guy or millionaire or whoever he was, some rich guy, wanted to pay to sit ringside for one of the WrestleMania matches. They introduced him. He's wearing headsets like like the commentators, like Michael Cole. And they're like, hey, here's this guy. He's not going to say shit the entire time, but he's sitting next to us. Like, what? Why?
Wait, this really happened?
Yeah. They introduced this guy. He was sitting at the commentary desk and he didn't talk. He was just like, hi.
That's awesome.
And he paid like, I don't know what they had. The rumor was he paid 30 grand for that, or 100.
I'm gonna tell you
like
what though, that is the way I wish wrestling was portrayed when you got there. Like, I don't know why they don't do that. Like, they should have the broadcaster out loud. It'd be so much awesome because like that's what he got. He got what we get at home live. He had the headphones on. And he was able to hear the narration of the It was great. I would. If I was a millionaire, I would definitely do that. Multi-millionaire.
They used to have this. They used to have a thing, and they can bring it back now because you can do it with you could probably do it on an app. But they used to have where if you were at the pay-per-view, you could buy a little radio receiver with a headphone, and it would play they would broadcast the commentary on a radio signal that these things could receive, and you could listen to the commentary at the pay-per-view.
That's awesome.
And if you could do that now, if you could do the same thing with Bluetooth to your AirPods, to your iPhone, you just open up the app. That's who wouldn't pay extra for that sitting ringside so you could listen to the commentary and follow along?
That's true.
Because commentary, I've done shows and I've been to shows where they do the commentary live over the loudspeakers, like indie shows. The thing that you can't do, it gets weird when a heel cheats and the commentators are talking about it and all the wrestlers and the referee just have to pretend that they're not listening to the commentary, or look at somebody just snuck out to the ring and they're hiding and the referee can't see him, but the commentary is saying somebody just ran out. It gets weird. But if you could just take the audio from the commentary and put it in your ear, I always wanted to try and find that thing, but I think by the time I started going to shows, they stopped doing it. I want to say this was a 90s, early 2000s kind of technology, and then it went away. Let's see here. One more comment.
That would be cool, though.
It would be. I think it would add something because because like we've all been there. We've been to WrestleMania and stuff. Sometimes you're sitting there and you're just you're watching the match, which is great and all, but like the commentary really does add to it if it's good commentary.
Great commentary is a large percentage of the match, how it goes. Because the way they narrate it to you, the emotions, the excitements.
Exactly. They're
Like, think
telling the
about when
story.
Obafemi did the power bomb to Brock Lesnar. And Michael Cole went, holy shit. Holy shit. Like, that made that moment so much bigger.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, it was a huge moment, but the fact that he went out of character to say those words, it was like, oh my God. This was so big that
Yes.
Michael Rose, such a respectful guy, went AWOL and said, holy shit, on TV, live TV. Like
Yeah,
that, like moments like that are crazy.
Right. It made that moment for sure.
Vince McMahon, that's gotta be Kane. That's gotta be Kane. Like that. Like it's awesome.
Yeah. JR, climb the ladder, kid. Make yourself famous. All this, whatever he says, you know, all those classic lines. Yeah, you remember them as part of the story, the same way you remember, like, you know, any of the commentators on a World Series championship or an NBA championship, and they're counting down the final seconds, or there's the last fly out, and somebody catches it, and the Yankees win the World Series or whatever. You remember commentary from that. So yeah, commentary is a big part of it. Let's see. So David, then Triple H go back to WCW, join the NWO. Tara Ryzen in the WCW. That was his name. Kevin,
Tara
what up?
Ryzen.
Almost missed the show. People can't from Michael Cole commentary is legendary. I mean, listen, there was a point where he was not very good, and then he really settled in to being himself. And then, of course, with Vince McMahon no longer screaming in his ear, I think that he's probably having a lot better time too, and can be a better broadcaster without having to worry about not only telling the story you want to tell over commentary, but then getting real-time notes from an actual psychopath. Like, I can't imagine, dude. There's if you look on I think it's called Try Moon. That guy is unfortunately deceased now, but Try Moon was a YouTuber that would take satellite feeds that they taped for SmackDown, and this was the live feed, and then that was before they edited SmackDown to put it on air on UPN or wherever. So he would get the whole show with the commentary, and then like if there were bloopers or anything that they edited out or had to go back and redo, like he got the whole show, and then he would like clip up these like little bloopers and moments. And there was one of them where Michael Cole was he did something like promoting the pay-per-view before they were going to commercial, and Vince McMahon was like in his ear telling him to do it again, and he's like, yeah, but I kind of just said that the last time and I wanted to like change it up a little bit, and then you just hear silence, and he goes, zip up, yes sir, okay sir, and then he does the commercial again the way Vince McMahon wants him to do it. It's like, oh my God, imagine the earful he just got in that fucking headset.
I don't give a F what you want to do.
Exactly. He's like, I don't care if it's repetitive. You're gonna say the shit that I wrote, the lines that I wrote on that page. You know, be crazy. That's why Mick Foley was commentator on SmackDown, like 2010-ish, 2012-ish, right around there. Wasn't there for very long because Vince McMahon screamed in his ear in the headphones, and he's like, Vince, I can't. How do you expect me to talk at the same time as listen? And also be like yelled at, but also understand what you're saying, and then say that while I'm already talking. And it's live TV. Like, come on, man, give me a fucking break.
That's got to be tough.
Yeah, because live broadcasting is tough. You don't want to talk over anybody. You don't want to crosstalk. You don't want to have a lot of silence. There's a lot of things you have to think about, and like especially if you're like trying to get a story across to an audience. It's not like you're commentating a basketball game or a baseball game where things happen and you have to react to them because they're unpredictable. This is like there is a story being told and you're the narrator of that story. There's a lot you have to think about while also being screamed at by Vince McMahon.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do they tell them what happens, or they let them just be surprised the whole time? Are they pretty much in the story, the announcers?
A lot of time it's one of those things where a lot of times they're in on it, and then sometimes during big moments or spoilers or something like that that they don't want leaked out or they want a real reaction to, they'll take it out. So, real quick, and then we'll wrap it up in a little bit. But back when The Rock did his first "I'm Home" promo, where he like surprised everybody, came back out, and then he wrestled John Cena for the first time at WrestleMania in like Florida. So, leading up to that, they were promoting that they were going to have a special guest, all this stuff. In the official script, the script that everybody backstage got for that night of Monday Night Raw, the segment was called "Leave It to Bieber." And in the script, it was implying that the guest host of WrestleMania was going to be Justin Bieber, and he was making a surprise visit to Raw to make that announcement.
Ooh.
So in case somebody went and spoiled it, it was the wrong spoiler. They were going, oh, you're not going to believe this. Justin Bieber is going to be out there. No, it was The Rock. So they put that in there to fool the roster and everybody. And but they don't do that all the time.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so the whole script is given to there's like a script that goes out for Raw and one for SmackDown. And
yeah,
the talent gets it.
I'll have to find one online. They did like occasionally, like a production person will like leave it on the ground in the arena, and a fan will like pick it up and bring it home and scan it. So there are like old scripts out there from like the Attitude Era and like the 2000s and stuff that are like, it has it down to the minute, like pyro, this, that, and the other thing. 2 minutes in, Triple H's music hits. At 2 minutes or at 3 minutes and 45 seconds, Triple H starts saying this, and then you're reading the promo. And if you read the promo, it's like either exact or very close to what the promo was supposed to be. And then like it's got everything kind of broken down by segment. I'll throw it in the group chat if I find one.
Please do. I would love to see that.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing to like look at and see like all the work that goes into it, because sometimes you think, these guys are pros, they're professional wrestlers, this is what they do. You should be able to say to whoever, Roman Reigns, hey, you're going to go out there and you're going to cut a promo on Jacob Fatu, and here's a couple bullet points, and go out there and cut a promo. And they might do that for Roman, and they might do that for some other guys, but a lot of those scripts that you'll see online for old episodes of Raw and SmackDown, the promo that's written on the page is the words that Vince McMahon expected that person to say in the ring, and God damn it, you better read it word for word.
So yeah, some guys do it on the spot, and others you got to do for soup to nuts.
Because it depends on like who you trust, and it really is like main event guys will have the trust to just kind of go out there and cut a promo, but usually like mid card, undercard guys, they're scripting it out. They're like, listen, we want to make sure you say this right. Say these words. Don't fuck it up for us.
Right.
I think we kind of covered a lot today, despite it was just you and me. No Steve and Kat and Eric. Nobody. They all took the night off.
We covered quite a few.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we pack up for the evening?
Yeah, just one thing, man. Fuck Goldberg.
There it is.
Yep. That's it.
You weren't here to do it right before the show, so you had to do it.
Yeah, I had to do it now.
All right. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you are just dropping in, take that playhead and drag it all the way back to the beginning. You can catch the whole show. Al and I broke down Raw, SmackDown, the releases, and looking forward to the upcoming Backlash pay-per-view. Kevin chiming in, yeah, the CM Punk pipe bomb was one that wasn't scripted. And I think a lot of CM Punk stuff, they trust him enough where he doesn't need to have a script now. Just have like a general, hey, we want you to talk about this. And then he goes and does it. So this is the end of the show, but if you like what you're seeing or like what you're listening to, we do this every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time, whether you're watching live on Facebook or YouTube. Just come right back to this page next week, next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. We stream on Facebook and YouTube at the Tag Me a Date account. So on Facebook, you go to your search bar, type in Tag Me a Date. You can hit the thumbs up or the follow button, and the live stream will show up in your news feed on Facebook. Or on YouTube, type Tag Me a Date into your search bar on YouTube. You'll find our YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button and notification bell, and that will send you a notification to your tablet or your phone 30 minutes before we go live, and then you just tap on that at 9 p.m. and you'll be right there. One review on Sunday afternoon before WrestleMania Sunday, and then on that Tuesday we did a WrestleMania Night 2 review and kind of whole WrestleMania weekend overcap on that Tuesday. So you can go back and look at that show or whatever you'd like on our YouTube channel. If you prefer an audio version instead of a video version of this podcast, you can head on over to your favorite podcast app like Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Play Podcasts. You'll see our lovely logo that's in the top right-hand corner, and in the description it will mention Vince, Steve, and all of your favorites. Just hit the subscribe button, and Steve or Ryan will grab that audio, and between Tuesday and Wednesday, it will be uploaded to the app. As long as you are subscribed, you don't have to worry about it. It'll be uploaded and sent directly to your phone or your tablet, as long as you tap that subscribe button. And if you follow us on social media, it's at Tag Me a Date, all one word. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. And if you want our TikTok, you type into the TikTok search, The War Report Podcast, and hit that follow button. On social media, we post shorts and reels about what we discussed on this week's show to lead you up to next Tuesday's broadcast. And with all that being said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you to David and Tanya and Ryan and Kevin for dropping in with comments tonight. Leave a like or a share on your way out, and we'll be doing it all again one more time next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, another edition of the War Report After Dark. We'll see you then. Have a great one, everyone.